Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about
Happy full moon and total lunar eclipse. Eclipses come in pairs, and they have this gorgeous 6-month cycle to them. So on a regular full moon, we would be celebrating the last 2 weeks from that waxing cycle, from that new moon. So any of those intentions or those dreams that we planted on February 27th during the new moon in Pisces, we'd be opening ourselves up to, and we're saying, hey, let's celebrate where we are right now, and let's then think about what we want to release until we get to that next new moon cycle, which is going to occur at the second half of this ecliptic pair. And that would be the normal. That's just kind of every month. That's what we do from a cyclic perspective. And yet we have an eclipse. And so the eclipse is where the sun and the moon and the earth come into play. So when the earth is in play, this gives us more energy here from that sun and moon illumination. And so this is where we illuminate more, so we have more revealing. But because it's an eclipse, and honestly, the earth gets a little bit in the way, because of that, we have a hiding aspect to it because the earth is blocking things. And so we want to look at the ecliptic pairs together, first of all. And then we want to look at the ecliptic pairs over time, because it's like a cycle, which if you think of like the infinity sign, and I'm going to lay it on its side. So think of like a figure 8 laying on its side, and I'm just moving my hands back and forth, and we're just flowing. So I get that stitching, that cyclic energy of movement. And think about when we kind of go to the left, we're going to the past, and we're going to that last ecliptic pair that occurred on September 17th and October 2nd of 2024. And as we then move forward through this one, which is in the middle of that beautiful figure 8, we then imagine us going to the future ecliptic pair, which will occur on September 7th and September 21 of this year. And so we want to be able to dissect this a little bit, not to kind of ruin its overall energy, but to be able to understand where we are in the pathway. And so let's stay at that still point in the middle of that figure 8 and look at this full moon, this ecliptic pair. This full moon is occurring with the moon in Virgo at 23 degrees and the sun in Pisces at 23 degrees. Now, 23 is a 5 because 2 plus 3 is a 5. So there's change in this energy. And that's the first thing. The second thing is that sun is really close to Saturn. So Saturn is a karmic, big energy that makes you choose. And he's a little bit of a pain in the butt. He's like that hall monitor. You're trying to sneak to the bathroom. You're just trying to sneak and get some fresh air. You've been trapped in an insurance sales conference for, 3 days. Sorry, insurance people, but not so fun. And you just want to go out, and the sun is just beautifully bright, and you haven't been outside for 2 or 3 days, and you just want to sneak out and just fill yourself with some vitamin D, just get some sun on your face. You just want to feel some radiance. And the hall monitor says, absolutely not. You can't go out. You absolutely can't go out. How important is it for you? Are you willing to break the rules? Are you willing to get in trouble? Are you willing to give something up? Are you willing to spend another 2 days versus another 4 hours in that conference in order to be able to get that breath of sunlight? Hello, Saturn. That's Saturn. Saturn wants us to follow every single rule that was ever thought of by anybody in the world. Think of like the Boy Scouts, like I'm loyal, I have integrity, I'm super honest, I'm reliable, I'm committed, I will do everything just the way it's set out to do. I will follow every protocol. It's a great energy. It's a beautifully responsible, mature, very finely honed energy where you can make all the choices that are right for you. And yet there's no fun, there's no frivolity, there's no lightheartedness, there's no space. There's no space to make a mistake. Although Saturn is super kind when you make a mistake, he kind of makes you look at it though, and he makes you be super honest with yourself. Was that really a mistake, or did you mean to do it? Yeesh. And then we have almost almost together in an excitement, which I've talked about over the last few weeks with Uranus. He's the rule breaker. Uranus is exciting Saturn, right? So it's a really interesting question. Who's going to win between that Uranus and Saturn? So Uranus is the guy that's like, oh my God. So think of good angel, bad angel standing on your shoulders, right? So like good angel is like, oh my God, we can't go out because a seminar is still going on. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to have to be here longer. It's going to be just terrible. Let's just don't get the breath of fresh air. Don't get the sun on your face. It's going to be fine. And then Uranus comes along and he's like, what are you, crazy? Oh my God, break free, break out, go, run like the speed of light. He'll never see you. The hall monitor, I will distract the hall monitor for you and just go outside. Absolutely. And oh, by the way, don't come back to the seminar. There's absolutely no reason for you to be here. You don't have to you can spend the next 4 hours having a blast, doing everything that you want to do. Let's go for it. Well, as of right now, Uranus would win because Uranus just happens to be in an energy that is slightly less distortive than Saturn, but not much. So they're both kind of in a dissolving, like Saturn in Pisces is kind of a dissolving energy that Saturn doesn't really like when he's in Pisces. But honestly, Uranus doesn't love being in Taurus either, because Taurus is super staid and gets really comfortable and just loves to be and just wants to take those breaths and sit in yoga meditation. And Uranus is like, oh my God, you see that Harley over there? Listen how loud it is. Oh my God. And there's a concert down the street. We could have a blast. Taurus is like, no, it's not going to do any good for us for our future. It's just really not worth it. So these planets are very complicated in the signs that they're currently in, but Uranus is more firmly footed. There's just more of a fixed energy to that. And there's more of a changing energy to Saturn. So in this case, I'll give the nod to Uranus. And then we've got the fortification, though, coming from Mars right now, which does help Saturn out. So it's probably a 50-50 at this point. I haven't forgotten we're talking about the eclipse. Don't worry. I just wanted to give a nod to this full moon and all of its energies. This does have the opportunity for us to be eye-opening and for us to kind of put on our shield in a really beautiful way, like wear our Wonder Woman cuffs or like our Superman cape, right? It does give us the ability to stand strong. Really does. That feels really good. So this full moon just wanted me to open up its energy, because within that, we've just been in that still point of that figure eight. When we go into the future orientation of this ecliptic cyclic rhythm, we have got those eclipses coming up. Not only 2 weeks from now, we have the ability to shed delusions very bravely and courageously, but that next pair that comes up in September, where we can renew our passion and we can create construct by those limits that we find ourselves in. That feels really yummy. And then when we kind of come back to that still point again of this own full moon, where we then wear those Wonder Woman cuffs and wear that Superman cape, and we go back and we remember last September into early October, we were given a glimpse of this collective soul destiny shifting in January. We will always get a window before we get a door, before we then get the whole house. So a window usually comes in with either the sun and the moon or like Mercury. It's just this quick moving. We get a glimpse. It's almost like we miss it. Like if we're not paying attention, we always get those. But then we get doorways. So this is really cool. We got a doorway with this eclipse, just because it has a 6-month energy. And so we had a doorway open of the value of love and the unknown becoming known. I wonder what's going to be revealed from that eclipse last September, early October into this one. What things were you stirring then between September 17th and October 2nd? Do you remember? There was a buoyancy to the energy. It did feel a lot lighter than it does now. We weren't in these 6 months of a retrograde mania. And yet, different energy. Interesting. We've had that passage of the collective soul destiny at the top of January. And now here we are, middle of March, in the chaotic soup, in this hidden, revealing energy of the eclipse. Interesting. Will we be brave enough to see things as clearly as we possibly can? I don't know. Let's find out. The crystalline energy that wants to be here is azurite. Now, azurite is a beautiful crystal. It's interesting because apatite came in for the new moon in February, and they have similar colorings. They're not in the same family at all. They don't really have relationship, and yet I'm going to relate them because I do want to have an opening of the cycle of the month, in addition to the opening of the cycle of the ecliptic 6 months. And so that appetite helped digest. Where are you in digesting your past and digesting your future? I don't know if you remember that a few weeks ago. But now we're in azurite. Now, azurite is the combination of malachite and azurite itself. It usually comes in together. And so azurite is this brilliant blue. It's like that marine blue. It is so incredibly stunning. And it's helping you open to the new. And then malachite is that gorgeous, brilliant green. And he is making everything transmute. Everything that no longer serves you. So azurite, I've never made this connection before, at least knowingly. Azurite can be that beautiful dance between that Saturn that I was talking about, the Uranus I was talking about. So I want to open up to the new, and yet I want to let go of the past. I want to open up to the new. I want to let it go of the past. I want to step into my future. I want to bring things that matter up to me and let those come forth. But I really want to filter out any of the other differences. Azurite is also known to be the combination of the seas, the oceans, and the land here on Earth, because that's what it looks like. With that green of the earth and the blue of the oceans. So think about that feminine energy when we look at it through an energetic lens of that terra firma of the earth, that beautiful feminine energy, and that gorgeous depth of the water feminine energy. Interesting. This actually is the crystal of the new era. It's how we landed new earth here. And so, a little bit of a portal opening too, which you can think of eclipses as we're going through and stitching those 6-month periods, going back into the past and then forward, but we're going through the present. So right here, right now, yum. And the oracle card that wants to come in is harvest. Saying yes to receiving gifts from the universe. It's a 12 number card. So it goes down to that 3. It's that full embodiment of you and your divine masculine and you and your divine feminine. Yum. Absolute yum. And so that's this beautiful full moon in the total lunar eclipse. Here we are in celebration of how far we've come and recognizing that we've reached a summit, but not the summit. So we have opportunity that we open ourselves for. And now this ritual is going to in no way be for your mind, because March is in no way for your mind. And in synergy and synchronicity with those universal energies, we're going to open you up to your intuition. We're going to let you bask in the state of being and becoming. So with that, go ahead and close your eyes, unless, of course, you're driving. Unless, of course, you haven't taken the quiz yet and you're not driving. You can go ahead to your starmaptosuccess.com, take that 12-question quiz, get the answer, the result for how you love to bask and open up to your intuitive conversation with your soul. How do you like to converse with your soul? And as we go through this ritual, we're going to tap into those energies and we're going to give your mind a little bit of candy. So now, if it's safe for you to close your eyes, please do so. Go ahead and give yourself a smile. Let each one of your cells awaken to the possibility of creating the future of your dreams. Let yourself relax into this state of being. If you have a back on the chair, go ahead and melt yourself into the back. Go ahead and situate yourself into the chair itself. Let yourself be supported by terra firma, by the earth. Let yourself drink from the sun and the moon in the glorious full range opening of 180 degrees. Give yourself that range of being fully embodied as a human, but yet opening to that soul potential, that limitless possibility. And let's carve and bring in azurite. As you know, you're sitting in the middle of that beautiful infinity sign, that pass through, that point of stillness. As we go back into the past, bringing that malachite energy with us, letting us go back to opening up the value of love that we have for ourselves and others. Letting the revelation of that and the truth of that come forth. Letting the unknown become known in ways that support our highest and good. And let's transmute and dissolve anything which does not serve in that alignment of our soul mission. Anything we do not want to bring into the new era. Anything that we don't want us to weigh us down into the future. So we fully digest that past. And we turn it into that gold, those golden nuggets for our future. Giving a great nod and acknowledgement to all of our past experiences, knowing that they have brought us here to this point. Pure perfection for us. And then opening to our soul, opening to how we communicate with our soul. We then take that beautiful azurite, that gorgeous future possibility, and we ask to ride the wave of Uranus into the future. Opening up innovatively with freedom and independence. Giving way to nothing but possibility. For the wise strategist and the intuitive visionary, opening up your awareness so that you can allow your mind and your intuition to speak to each other. Taking that logical linear state that the wise strategist loves and that beautiful, brilliant weaving of patterns that don't make any sense and that future of the unknown with the intuitive visionary and saying yes to both. We need both to shine our brilliance. Going gorgeously into that balanced flow of the collaborative explorer, that new air energy of opening up to influence and all of its nuances, as well as into the heart of the ruling warrior, that committing to the striving for the next, constructing the future as walking it, clearing the pathway without apology and with bravery, instituting that warrior-like energy to become exactly who you're meant to be, opening up to the energies of your heart, knowing that the true answer and the wisdom lies within. And going to that creative superstar and loving alchemist, opening up to that full energy of creation, that beautiful spiral of the edges with that creative superstar, and yet that inner core strength of pure power with the loving alchemist. Opening up to the senses and the energies and the alignment of the mysteries. Opening up to its cycles and its replenishment and its alchemy of turning things into gold. And then giving a beautiful nod to Mother Earth as she's in the middle of this eclipse, allowing herself to become part of the equation. Opening yourself up to the brave spiritedness of this full moon. Saying yes to the yes, to the yes, to the yes, to the yes. Harvesting the gifts, being open to receive. Saying yes to the yes, to the yes, to the yes, to the yes. So it is. This is my intention, my creation, my word. It is done. When you're ready, come back to the space, giving great gratitude to azurite, to the new era, to the beautiful infinity symbol, and that balanced flow of going back to the past, digesting and taking that still point of the present and saying a great big yes, and then going into that possibility of the future. Giving great thanks to the luminaries and the stars above, giving great thanks to the earth below. We are ready. Yes to the yes, to the yes, to the yes, to the yes. Take a nice deep breath in, and when you do, if you haven't already opened your eyes, go ahead and do so. And allow yourself a few moments to be in this space. There was healing in this meditation, this ritual for this full moon and this eclipse. The energy called for it, asking for ease and grace as it unfurls and unfolds. And as you bloom into yourself, let the blossoming be as gracious and as kind and as compassionate as possible. As you take a drink of water, maybe moving a little bit to get that imprint into your auric layer, into your body. Again, smiling as we did at the top of the ritual. And saying, happy, happy, happy full moon, happy total lunar eclipse, happy to be alive, happy to be in this state right here, right now, in the present. And saying yes to your intuitive gifts and your intuitive knowing and the way your intuition loves to talk to you and get you to connect to your soul. It's time to let your soul lead you. And with that, as always, thank you so much for listening and sharing with friends. Go ahead and smile once again. Welcome back. Happy full moon. Happy soul tidings.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.